Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we need to proceed with the creation of financial reports using Python code. So far we've done the variables from current financial period variables. We've done budget variables, we've done prior period variables, and we've also done the variables for period inputs. So now we want to continue with the actual creation of financial reports. So where we'll start with the PNL YTD as I've indicated in my screen here. We'll start with PNL underscore YTD, and then we'll move to monthly PNL, then balance sheet, cash flow, and lastly we'll also do the notes to financial statements. So what we'll start with here, we'll start with opening stock. So we want to have our opening stock. We also want to have values for purchases, then values for closing stock. Then from these opening stock, purchases, and closing stock, we'll get the cost of sales. So the first line of code for P&L, we have opening stock, O underscore S to mean opening stock is equal to pd.dataframe OS underscore combined. Remember we had created a variable up there for OS underscore combined. So this is our opening stock. Again, we are moving to purchases, and then we are saying purchases is equal to pg.dataframe P&L underscore data.log. Then we are using lambda, and then we are saying that category is equal to purchases. So we only want the data that is relevant to purchases. So that's why we are saying category is equal to purchases. Then one. So in short, we are trying to make the values of closing stock to be negative. So we are multiplying all the numerical columns with the -1 to get those values as negative. So that's why you are saying CS CS underscore value is equal to CS in bracket period underscore actual times -1, then comma, then CS in a square bracket period underscore budget times -1. So in short, all the numerical columns or numerical values of the CS combined will be multiplied by -1 to get the negative value, rather to make them negative values of the closing stock. Then down here we are saying that CS in bracket period actual, period budget, period YTD actual, YTD budget, period last year, YTD last year, and then total last year is equal to CS value. So now when we print the value for closing stock, or rather the data frame for closing stock, which will be getting negative values of that data frame. So here we have the period number will be period 1 to mean January, and then the financial year will be 2017. So now you can see we have closing stock with the negative values from period actual to YTD last year. So these are all negative values, and then now we need to move to cost of sales. Remember we've said that to get cost of sales, you must have opening stock, you must have purchases, then you must have closing stock. So cost of sales will be opening stock, add purchases as closing stock. But since we have the negative values of closing stocks, we'll just add all the numerical values of opening stock, SPs, and closing stock. So down here, let me try to uncomment cost of sales. I will comment out sales volume. So we are again saying that cost of sales is equal to pd.dataframe rather pd.concat. So we are concatenating the values of opening stock, purchases, and closing stock. So these values here we are concatenating, but we are concatenating them vertically, so that's why our axis is equal to 0. So again, our next line of code, we are saying that cost of sales is equal to cost of sales dot reset index, and then drop index axis is equal to 1. So here we are dropping the index within the column, so axis is equal to 1. But before then, let me just try to print the value of cost of sales. Underscore sales. So we want to print cost of sales before we drop and reset the index. So the period is 1 and the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as cost of sales as a data frame. So now you can see we have opening stock, we have purchases. Let me try to bring this one up. So we have opening stock, we have purchases, and we also have down here closing stock. So again, let me try to bring this one down. So our next line of code, we are trying to reset index. So when we reset index, we'll have the index column being running from 0 to the last row. So we'll have 0, 1, 2 up to the last row of our data frame. So before I drop index, let me try to comment this one out. I want to comment this command for drop index. So then I'll come down here. Rather, we'll add this command for print cost of sales. Then I will print now cost of sales after resetting the index. So let's print again. I'm just trying to show the steps involved in coming up with the cost of sales final data frame. So the period again is 1, and then the financial year in review is 2017. So now we have 22 rows with 11 columns, and then the index has been reset from 0 to 21. But now we have this other column for the previous, or rather for the previous index, which we need to drop. So again, I will uncomment this other code for drop index. Now, if I print out again, now we'll see that we have dropped this necessary index column. The period still is period 1, but we can choose whichever period. Can be period 2 or period 12, and then the financial year in review is 2017. And now we've dropped that unnecessary index column. So now again down here we are saying that cost of sales dot log, cost of sales is equal to cost of sales in square bracket. So here we have double brackets. We want to sum the values of the numerical columns. So we are using double square brackets, then dot sum. So let me just cut this one, cut this line of code for printing cost of sales, and I'll put it down here. And now again can print. We want to see what happens when we sum up the numerical columns of cost of sales. Period 1, 2017 as financial year in review. So now we have in the last row we have the total values of the numerical column, so that will be our cost of sales. So now we'll when you check the following lines of codes, we are moving to, rather, we have this line of code that you only want the last row of that data frame for cost of sales. So that will give us just a single line, single row for cost of sales. So if I print this, if I print cost of sales now, you will see we have the last row of the data frame. But before then, we have up here we have cost of sales equal to cost of sales under rather than dot tail in bracket 1. So tail, the code here, the command here for tail will just pick the last line, the last lines, or the last rows of the data frame. But now when we put 1, it will pick the last row of that data frame. So cost of sales is equal to cost of sales underscore rather dot tail in bracket 1. So when I print this cost of sales data frame, it should give us just one row of that data frame. So this is what we have as cost of sales. So after getting cost of sales, now we need to move to volume. So let me try to comment this out, comment the printout out, then I will again uncomment, rather will comment sales. So now we are saying that sales volume is equal to period of data frame, PNL underscore data dot log, and lambda, in category is equal to sales volume dash mt, then dot to list. So before we reset index, let me just try to comment this out. So again, we'll also comment this other line of. So now I want to print in bracket sales underscore volume. So I want to show you what we have as sales volume before we reset index, top index. It's taking quite over time, but just be patient a bit. Too long. So let me try to again. I cannot rerun the code, so we'll have to wait a little bit. Let me try to run this again. The period number is 1 and the financial year in review is 2017. So this is what we have as sales volume. We have period actual, period budget, and then we also have YTD actual, YTD budget, period last year, YTD last year, and total last year. So again, now if I uncomment this reset index, then I will also uncomment this top index. And now again I can print the sales volume. Let me do away with this. Let me run it again. So the period is 1. Financial year in review is 2017. Again, this is what we have as sales volume as data frame. But now you can see the index column has been reindexed, which is running from 0 to the last row with the name 4. So from there again, now we want to group our sales volume by category and by ledger. So when I come down again, start this and come down here and paste it there. So we want to group the sales volume by category and by ledger. So when I print again, and now we should only have one line of or rather one row sales volume when we group by category and by ledger. So the period number is 1, financial year in review is 2017. So now we have one row for sales volume. So we have period actual, period budget, YTD actual, and YTD budget. And then when you counter check what we have in our code with the Excel. So we are talking about volume. So when we go to 2017 January, we have 16352.48 is what we have here in our code. And then the period budget for we need January. Period budget for January should be be 24,092, and that's what we have here. Then the YTD actual, because we are analyzing the month of January, the values will be the same for the monthly figures. And then YTD budget also will be same as the period budget because the month is still January. And then the period last year, we only have total last year. We don't have period last year because the period last year is 2016 and we did not have the values for January, but we had the values for December 2016. That's why you are seeing that sales volume for total last year is 23,000. And from here now we need to move to sales. So we are done with the sales volume in metric tons. So we want to move to sales. So again, I will comment out the code from gross margin. Sorry. So within this line of code for sales, we are saying that sales is equal to pd.data frame. Then we are picking the data frame for P&L data. Then we are saying P&L data.log. We are using lambda, and then the ledger is equal to sales. Then again we are saying sales.logs in square bracket sales is equal to sales, period actual, period budget, YTD actual. So we want to sum the numerical values of that data frame. So we are picking all the numerical columns and we are summing them. So we are saying again sales is equal to sales dot group by category and ledger. Then we are replacing again the null values with the with sales. Let me just try to print the data frame for sales. Print in bracket sales. So the period number is 1 and the year in review is 2017. So now this is what we have as sales value, and we have a period actual, period budget, YTD actual, YTD budget. We also have period last year, YTD last year, and a total last year. When we check total last year, this one is for 2016 because the financial year in review is 2017. And then 2016 January to November we did not have any values. That's why period last year and YTD last year the values are 0. So down here now we are trying to concatenate the values for sales volume and the values for sales. So we are saying sales is equal to pd.concat sales volume sales. So when I print this data frame for sales, see what we have. So period 1 in 2017 was financial year in review. So this is what we have as data frame for sales and sales volume. So we've concatenated the two together. So from there we'll have, or rather moving forward, we'll have our financial report starting from sales volume, then sales, and we'll move to gross margin. So what we'll have in the final product should be looking like this: sales, then cost, or rather sales volume, then cost of sales, then we have rather sales volume, sales, then cost of sales, then we also have a gross margin. So let me take you back to our code. So now we need to move to gross margin. So I will uncomment that code for gross margin out. Then I will comment the other code from direct expenses. Then from now here we are saying that cost of sales 1. So we want to determine the gross margin. Remember, the gross margin is equal to sales minus cost of sales. Already we have the value for sales. So we also have the value for cost of sales up here. So sales minus cost of sales should give us gross margin, but we are starting with this line of code as cost of sales 1 is equal to cost of sales in bracket period actual times -1, cost of sales in bracket period budget times -1. So in short, we are trying to multiply all the numerical columns of the data frame for cost of sales with -1 so that we can have the as negative values. So when we get the cost of sales numerical figures as negative values, it means that when we'll just add sales plus cost of sales, then we'll get the gross margin. So that's why we are seeing here, we are multiplying the numerical figures, numerical columns of the cost of sales data frame times -1. So down here we are saying that cost of sales in bracket period actual, period budget, YTD actual, YTD budget, YTD last year, YTD rather period last year, YTD last year, and total last year is equal to cost of sales 1. So we want to make the cost of sales with numerical figures as negative values. So when I come down here and print cost of sales, so let me first try to comment out this print sales, then I'll come down here and print in bracket cost underscore of underscore sales. I'm printing cost of sales, not cost of sales 1. So it's still taking time. So period will be period 1. Then financial year is 2017. So this is what we have as cost of sales. You can see we have the negative values. So when we come down here, we are saying that GC underscore 1, meaning gross contribution underscore 1 is equal to PD.concat sales 1 and cost of sales. So sales one was the data frame that had sales volume and sales. Rather, the sales one was this data frame that was having the value for sales, and then we are concatenating that with the cost of sales. Okay, so when I come down here and print cost of sales, I should see what we have. Let me print. I'm not printing cost of sales, but I'm printing the first line. These are the line of code for GC_1. This one is GC_1. We'll comment this one out. We want to combine sales and cost of sales in one single data frame. Then we'll add the two to get the gross margin. So period is still 1. Then here financial year in reviews 2017. So this is what we have. And see, we have sales, and then we also have down here cost of sales. So the sales figure, sales one here was not put in the data frame, so it has not been named cost of sales. Now when I come down here again, let me do away with this print GC1. Now you can see we are saying that GC1.log gross margin is equal to GC1 period actual period budget. So we are trying to sum up the values for the values within data frame for GC_1 so that we can get the gross margin. So let me try to print down here to show you that what we have as gross margin. So print in bracket GC. So we want to get the gross margin. For all the numerical columns of the data frame. The period is 1. Financial year in reviews 2017. So this is our gross margin from what we have as we've been coding up to this level. So this is our gross margin. Then now down here we are seeing that our level 1 code will be level 1 is equal to pt.concat. We want to concat sales with cost of sales and then with the gross margin. So meaning that when we, after writing this code the way we've written, we should have something like this. We should have sales volume, we should have sales, and then we should also have cost of sales. Then down here we need to have gross margin. So here we'll print out level 1. Hope, ladies and gentlemen, you understand why we reset index, and then after resetting index we also drop index. The period 1, or the period will be period 1, and the financial year in review will be 2017. So this is now our level 1 for P&L. So now we've coded our P&L statement. Now we have sales, the sales volume, we have sales, we have cost of sales, and then we also have gross margin. So from here you can see that with the sales volume, the sales volume will not be considered in calculation of the gross margin. It's just being shown that this is the amount of volume that we sold within that period. Then we have sales. So when we subtract our cost of sales from our sales, we'll get the gross margin. So that's our level 1 of P&L YTD. So I want us to stop at there. So when we come back, we'll move to we'll code until we move to level 2 of P&L YTD. But before we go on, before we call it a day, I want to thank those who have subscribed. Those who haven't, please do. And please do share your comments. This was my code for financial automation, but maybe some of you might have better suggestions. So please, if you have any suggestion of how I've done my code, of where I can change or where we can improve, please share your comments. Above all, thanks a lot for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.